Well, it's 2016's New Year's Day, and it's time for another amazing brunch. This year, I really did something a little bit different, and you see all the beautiful vintage copper that I'm using, which is what I used last year. But this year in the menu, I thought about doing something different. And part of what I thought about was, what did I want the year to be? And I want 2016 to be a year filled with sweetness and a little bit of spice and everything delicious and wonderful, and maybe at times a bit overindulgent. And so that's what the menu reflects. So this time we have gorgeous homemade buttermilk biscuits, which are here. And if we had smell-o-vision, you could smell how amazing they are. And the rest of the food that they're going to be served with is a country-baked ham and homemade hollandaise sauce. And in addition to that, in here will be 3 different kinds of vegetables. And so I wanted savory and spicy, so I did chana masala, which is an Indian recipe with garbanzo beans. I did sag paneer, which is Indian spinach with an Indian cheese. And over here we have gorgeous roasted mushrooms. Of course, it wouldn't be New Year's without bagels and cream cheese or smoked salmon. So this whole platter will be filled with 3 different kinds of salmon as well. And then if we move along, over here you will see Indian potatoes with brown and yellow mustard seeds. Very Indian, very spicy. And this will have eggs baked in a roasted pepper saffron sauce. Quite delicious. And over here will be turkey hash, which is also gluten-free for my friends who can't tolerate any gluten. And it's made with fresh turkey thighs that we slow roast. The pumpkin waffles are going to be here, and we're doing a ginger syrup, which is just delicious instead of maple syrup. And there's also plain yogurt if somebody wants a dollop of yogurt. Over here, I'm going to have breakfast parfaits. Now, we've made homemade granola, and they'll be layered with fresh, gorgeous berries, organic berries, yogurt, and topped with homemade granola. And then individual baked croissants with caramelized apples, raisins, and custard. And then there will be lots of jams, different flavors of jams for the muffins, for the biscuits. And this is going to be the hollandaise. We have fresh hollandaise sauce. And this will be the ham. And so I don't think anybody will go hungry this year. And yet you see there's a lot of savory and there's just enough sweet. And the sweet will be covered not only by the pumpkin waffles, but also by all the delicious cakes that I've made. One of the things I always do is I bake some of the pastries ahead. And I know I say this on the blog, but in case you don't really believe me, you get to see them. These were all done several weeks ago, and I've taken them all out of the freezer this morning, so I'm cutting them and plating them for brunch this morning. So the first one I'm working on is a blueberry muffin cake. And instead of baking individual blueberry muffins, this is a cake that's loaded with blueberries, and it kind of has the texture and the taste of a muffin, but it's even easier to do, and it tastes great, and it freezes. And just to make sure it really froze well, I'm going to have a little taste. Oh, it's really good. This is the fruit cake. And it's not your typical kind of fruit cake. You can see I made it December 24th. The secret to baking things ahead and freezing them is to make sure they're really properly wrapped. I soak the fruit in bourbon the day ahead, and you can see how gorgeous it is. It's loaded with dried fruit and walnuts. You can put in any fruit you like. So if throughout the year you've been baking and cooking and you have leftover dates and leftover prunes and leftover raisins and leftover nuts, as long as you stick to the quantities in my recipe, you can use it. Some people have nut allergies, and so I try not to have nuts in every dessert. So this time I made it with chocolate chips and cherries. And again, made ahead and froze it. This is how it was wrapped. This is one I actually made yesterday, And the beautiful thing about this is it is completely gluten-free. I do have a friend coming who has celiac disease, so you have to be really careful with gluten, but I wanted her to have something delicious and sweet. This is made with ricotta cheese, almond meal, almond extract, fresh berries, and almonds. I'm making little place cards to identify all the food. I think it's really important so people know what everything is, because people who have food allergies, gluten-free, or just they want to know what's in something. Some of the dishes I'm making are Indian, and so while I use the Indian name like chana masala, I've also written below it garbanzo beans, so people who maybe aren't familiar with Indian food know what they're eating. Okay. Oh, something smells really good. These are the buttermilk biscuits. That's the hollandaise sauce. It also helps when you have people helping you in the kitchen, which I do. This lets them know where you want everything to be on the table. Today, I'm in very comfortable old clothes. This is old Alexander McQueen, but Alexander McQueen never goes out of style. And actually, this is a vintage bracelet and a necklace I've had for about 10 years. And then, of course, the shoes, Manolo Blahnik.
Are we late?
You are perfect.
We're perfect?
You are perfect.